it is very difficult to send him hundreds of files every now and then. And you know, okay, I made a small change. Let's say I want to change this variable name. I changed it, but I forgot to send him this file. Now we both don't have a synchronized code, right? So so as the project started getting bigger, as more people were involved in making computer project like software projects, there was a tool which was synthesized, not made, which is called version control system. So as you have seen, Google Chrome version 35.0.1, 35.0.2. So why is it needed and what does it help with? So let's say uh, I have written this code. I've called it, let's say, version A. Okay. Now I need some way for Abhishek to get my latest updated code. Okay. So let's say he gets my latest updated code. He makes some changes. I make some changes, and we both get to synchronize those changes to make a version B. Now, what do I not want to do is I don't want to send him every single change that I have made, and for him to send me every single change that he has made. I want the system to do it all for me. So there comes GitHub. Sorry, Git. What it does is it manages your files. Now it is very good at managing text files, especially. So what it does is it manages changes. It observes changes in your text files. And then it can back them up. By backup, I mean it will store it in a central repository types. So what you do with Git is you initialize a repository. Repository is your project where your entire source code of your project will lie. Okay, you write some code, uh, you get some error, you fix it, you write some more code, and now you say that, okay, I have written this much. At some future point of time, if I mess anything up, I would like to come back here because I know everything is working fine. So you save, in air quotes, you save this, like your project in this time. So basically you take a snapshot of your project at the current time and just save it. And now whatever changes you make, they will be made to your current working line. But if in case you mess something up, you can easily go back to the previous save which you made, or any other save that you have made up till this point. Okay. So I hope I wasn't going too fast, but yeah, that is the basic gist of a version control system. You can take a snapshot of your project at any point in time. You can go back and forth among all the different versions that you have. Now, how does it help when more than one people want to work on a project? Well, since it is saving a state of a project, what I can do is I can send that saved state to Abhishek. And now, since that was a current state in my of the project which I made, Abhishek has it as well. So what he can do is he can edit whatever he wants. He can save his project and then send that to me. So what we have fixed is we have fixed something. We have fixed this keeping track of all the files that you have changed. But what we have not fixed is sharing the repository among each other. So for that, there is a there is a website called GitHub. So what it does is it provides you an online storage for your Git repositories. So let's say I have a repository. Fine, I made it. My project is ready. Fine, and then I uploaded it to GitHub. Now, what I can do. By the way, this is how a GitHub repository would look like. So I don't want you to understand anything. I'm just giving you a bare bones basic of why we need Git and GitHub and how does it help us. We'll explain how to use it and all later. So now you can see I have all of my stuff, like all my project stuff here in this repository. And you can see I have made some changes. So changes was made 4 days ago, last month. So it has nicely organized my project. Now, if I want Abhishek to work on this project with me, I could send him this repository. He could make a copy of this repository. Making a copy of a repository is also known as cloning a repository. He could clone this repository. He could make any changes that he wants or that we want, and then he could push the changes to this repository. So basically, there is a central, something stored in a distance in a cloud, which we both are synchronized to. So this has solved all of my problems that I had with collaborating with other people. I can nicely share my entire project with my friends, with my collaborators. They can copy it, they can continue working on it, and they can push all those changes to me. Uh, so that is the basic need. Now, how does it actually work? So for Git to work on your computer, you need to have Git installed. There is a command for it on Linux, or maybe it is pre-installed. I'm not sure of this, but just on Linux, you can install it with a single command. On Windows, you might have to go to the Git website, but it's a straightforward procedure. You can just simply download it, and you have all the functions of Git for you on your computer. Now, what you need to do is you have something called a local repository. A local repository is aptly what it's named. It's repository on your system. So you initialize a local repository, and now you can commit all your, you can save all the snapshots of your project in this repository. So a few things about your local repository. One second, let me just open up another code file. So let's say, not let's say, this is a portfolio website which my friend called Sufyan has made. So okay, he has made all of this. Now, fortunately, it does have a Git repository here, which I need to remove. I did not see that before. Okay, so what I see is, okay, he has written all this code. I could take all of his, I could take his Git repository and copy it to my computer, or not all. I could start my own repository here. So how do I start my own repository? There is a simple command called git init. What will git init do is, it will initialize your repository. It will initialize the repository on your system. So now if you want to, you can make all your files that you want to make. You can write all the code that you want to write, and then you can execute a command called git add. Okay, git add, what does it do? So not going too much into detail about Git and how it works. Basically, there is a working tree. Working tree is basically whatever you are working on right now. So any changes that you make, they get changed, they get stored on a working tree. As you can see here, these are all the changes that I have made. Okay, so these all changes have been are there on the working tree. Okay, these are not yet saved. These are just the changes that you have made, and you can choose to save them. So how will you save them? You can save them by opening the terminal right here. One second. Yeah, you can open the terminal, and then you can just be like git add. Okay, git add, and since there are so many files, you are supposed to put your file names here. But since there are so many files, I would like to add all of them. By add, I mean take a snapshot. So I would like to take a snapshot of all of them. So instead of writing every single name, I'm just gonna do git add dot. So what this does is, this will basically prepare all of these files to be saved. Okay, so what you have done till now, you have made some change. You have initialized your repository, you have written some code, you have prepared those code files to be saved. Now, how do you save it? There is something called commit. Now all the changes that you prepared for saving need to be committed. So basically, by git add, by the command git add dot, you are putting all these files in a area called a stage area. Okay, so once they are in a stage area, you can commit them, and they will be saved in your repository. So Yeah, and there can be obviously, since it is a very big project, you can have multiple commits along the way. So let's say you wrote a bit of code on day one, you committed it. On day two, you committed it. Like that, you have a timeline of events that your project has been through. Now at any point you can jump back and forth to any of the commit that you want, and every single file will be restored to the exact way that it was when you entered the command git commit. Okay, a git commit command has the following syntax. Git, one second, where did it write? Yeah, git commit. Now there needs to be a commit message. Why does there need to be a commit message? We will get to it in some time. So there is git commit dash m, which tells the,
Pratim, I would like to stop you just for a second. Can you increase the font size?
yeah, I'm sorry. Did it change? Yeah. Is it better now?
A little bit more.
Hmm.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
So what you can do is git commit slash m, which is a message, the commit message. Let's say this is my first commit, or it can be something like added added feature X. Okay. So yeah, and when you commit it, that commit will have a message right next to it, which is yeah, which you can see here. These are not my commits, and this is not my repository. This is Sufyan's repository, so I can't make a commit right now. I will tell you why later. So this is the first. This is the first commit, and you can see who has made that commit, when that person has made that commit, and so on. So yeah, so this is the first commit, and maybe there's a second commit or whatever. So basically, you can commit it like that. So now, why did we commit? Okay, now another like the another use case of this is, let's say you are making a mobile app. Okay, your app is for example an expense tracker app. So what you did was, you made the user interface of that app. Okay, it's looking amazing and everything that you could have asked for. Now you need to add another page to that user interface. Okay, now you're not sure if anything else will like if you make all those changes, you're not sure if whatever is working right now will also work when you're done adding that new page. Let's say the page is for an monthly overview page. Okay, so what you can do is, uh, you can have a separate line where you're working on those changes. So what do I mean by a separate line? So let's say your current snapshot is there. Now you make a completely new copy of your current snapshot and you do all the changes that you want on this copy. Okay. So now let's say you mess everything up and everything is gone. Yeah. So now if you like mess everything up and everything is gone, you have the initial copy of your commit with you. So nothing is lost for you. So by this copy, I mean there is a thing called branches. So what branches are let's say there is a linear flow in time, which goes something like this. I'm sorry, I do not have a board right now or a whiteboard, so I could maybe present it to you. But yeah, so let's say you did commit one, you made some changes, did commit two, made some changes, did commit three. So these are all in a linear line. Yeah. So now what you would like to do is you would like to create a separate line of code where you maybe have some other changes. So this is known as creating a separate branch. It is a more complicated process and you will not have to use it right now, but I'm just introducing to you so you can read more about this later. So what you can do is, let's say you want to implement a feature of monthly overview on your app, and Abhishek wants to implement a feature of yearly overview on the app. So you both created one branch each. You both did all your changes in that branch. You did all the testing required. Uh, Testing is a very important part of software development. So you both did all the testing that you required, and now you are sure that your code is working. So what you can do is you can apply these changes to the main branch. So this is known as merging two branches. So first one was creating a branch, and then second one is merging a branch. So once you create a branch, any commit you do will be on that branch specifically, nowhere else. And yeah, and then when you merge the branches, both the branches will be merged. Creating branches, merging branches is a complicated process. There are more things. There are multiple types of merges, like fast forward merge, etc. Fast forward merge, etc. Uh, but you do not need to know about all that right now. All you need to know is there is a feature like this and how it can be used. So yeah, so there are different commands for everything. And now, where does GitHub come in? I created a local repository. I do not want to send this local repository to Abhishek manually every single time. That is where GitHub comes in. So GitHub will do exactly what it's, uh, you know, I don't know. Yeah, GitHub will act as a Google Drive for your repositories, basically. It will act as a Google Drive, as in now you can store your local repository in GitHub. Okay. Now this is called as a remote repository because it is in a remote location and not on your local system. So you can store this repository on GitHub, and then Abhishek can quickly go to this URL. And after going to the URL, he can just download this file. Basically, that's it. So yeah, so this way what happens is yeah, so Abhishek got a repository. Abhishek can now make these changes. He can commit all those changes, and more importantly, he can you both can sync all your changes to this repository. Now, as I said, committing will commit your changes to your local repository, and Abhishek committing will make changes in his own local repository. To make sure these changes go to your GitHub repository, there is a command called git push. Okay, git push will push all your changes in your local repository to your GitHub. And let's say there are some changes that Abhishek made, and now you need to work after those changes are made. So yeah, so after those changes are made, let's say you want to visualize the monthly overview which Abhishek has made. So to visualize, in order to visualize that, you obviously need the code for monthly overview. So what you do is you need to get all the changes from the GitHub repository, which is known as git pull. So you can push all your changes, you can pull all the changes, you can commit your changes, uh, you can add the files to the staged area. So these are, you can create branches. These are the basic functions of a Git repository. So yeah, I would like to show a little bit of a demo. My system is lagging a bit. I'll just share again in a minute. Yeah. Yeah. Hello. One second.
Yeah,
I'm sorry for the
you're
delay. I
audible.
was experiencing heavy lag for some reason. Yeah. Okay. I hope my screen is visible now. So
Yes.
cool. Just a second. I would like to show you all of this practically. Just a minute. Yeah. just open up the files. Okay, so as this is a portfolio workshop, we got one of our friends to make a portfolio for us. And one second. Oh no. Just a minute, I'm experiencing some issues.
Bro, suppose if you upload something on GitHub, then anyone can access it, or we need to give permission manually for that.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, okay. So there are two types of repositories on GitHub. So if it is, let's say, a private repository, only you can access it and no one else. And if it is, let's say, a public repository, then everyone can access that repository, and you will have not much control over it. So yeah.
So for a public repository, they can access it, and if they want, they can clone that total repository, make changes again, push into my repository.
No, they cannot push into your repository. So I have not explained a topic called a pull request. So basically, what happens is sometimes, let's say I defined a function X and you also defined a function X. So that kind of messes it up, right? Because obviously a software cannot have two functions with the same name, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
what you do is when you push a commit, it will send in a pull request. If there are any conflicts like this, it will cause something called a pull request. Now, what is a pull request? Pull request is basically for the owner of the repository. He can decide what stuff stays in and what stuff goes away, right? So let's say if I want
Yeah.
this function to stay, so you can choose what you want to be there and what you don't want to be there. So
Okay.
yeah, so that is it.
Okay.
How
Okay.
to take, yeah,
Thank you.
I'm going to explain the how to take snapshot of a code. I'm just not able to start up my editor. I'm having some issues. Just a minute. Yeah, okay, I hope it is better now. Yeah, so this is the file. Okay, so how can you start it? As you can see, there is no repository here right now. Okay, but as you can see, there is no indication, but I'm just telling you there is no repository over here. There are two ways you can create a repository. My screen is visible, yeah? I'm not sure if it is. Yeah,
Yeah, it is visible.
so yeah, okay, cool. So the first way is you can have you have different commands for it, and the second way is using tools offered by Visual Studio Code. Okay, so there are many commands. I would suggest you something called not called, there's this GitHub cheat sheet over here which gives you every single small command and how to use it over here in a very concise manner, and it is very easy to understand. So let's say if you want to look how to initialize and set it up, there are two commands over here. How to stage and snapshot, there are a few commands over here. As I said, the commit command. So basically, we will provide a link for this, but I'm just telling you don't have to remember all these commands. You will get them over yours. But yeah, there is a nice cheat sheet for you to look from. But you also have something called a GUI tool, which I use all the time, because what you need to do is either you could have typed git init to start a repository, or if you are a little bit lazy, you can just initialize a repository through this click, and it has initialized everything. Okay, and as you can see, these are the changes. All these files that I have added here, like there has been no commit previously, so there are a lot of changes. So what I need to do is I need to add all of these files. So I could either click here, I could, stage all the changes like this, or I could just be like git add dot, and that will stage all my changes. And as you can see, they are changed from unadded to A, which stands for added. And now I can commit this. So I can do git commit -m initial commit. Okay, and if I press enter, it will commit it. This is the correct command for it. Or I could simply just use the GUI over here, which is type in the message here, which is initial commit, and I just need to press command enter or control plus enter. And as I do it, it has saved all the changes. And as you can see, this is the initial commit. Okay, now one thing is I cannot commit this again, because GitHub is Git is so clever that it will note down that you have not made any further changes, and it will not allow you to commit it again. But if, let's say, I remove this one line, okay, or let's say I should not remove any line from here, but yeah, let's say I remove any one line, it will tell me that it's a change. And yeah, that will I can commit it again, and it will just stack it up here. And if I want, I can just go back to my initial commit. If I want, I could go back to my third, fourth, fifth, or whatever commit that I want. Now, as I said, we need to be able to use GitHub for this. So just a second, I will show you GitHub. New window, GitHub. How do you start a repository? So let's say I'm logged into my account. I absolutely need to start a new repository. So since I have made a local repository, now I need a remote repository. So I can just go new repository. Okay. And now it asks me a bunch of things. So I can name this whatever I want. I can have some description if you want. You can select the public and private, and then you can you shouldn't take any of these. That is, you can add these manually, and you should add these manually, and then you can create a repository. Yeah, so I will name this repository pretty specifically, which is 13263.github.io. Okay, I will tell you later why I named it like this, but it can be anything. So I have made it public, obviously, and all of these are unticked. I created a repository. It gives me a few codes. Okay, so it tells me you can create a new local repository on command line, and it gives you the code, or you can push an existing repository from the command line. So that is exactly what I want to do. I have an existing remote repository, and I would like to push it to this command line. Okay, I'm going to use their exact code which they have given me, which is git remote add origin and the URL of this repository. What does this do? This adds a remote repository to my local repository, so it knows where should it look for changes and etc. And then it goes to the branch called main, and then it pushes all the changes to main. Yeah, so yeah, once it pushes all the changes to main, you will be able to see all the code over here. So let's do it. So I can either do git remote add origin, okay, exact file, or I can use the GUI over here, which is remote add remote, and then it will ask me for a URL. So to show you, I will just use it. So it gives me a pick a repository source, and I can copy paste this URL which was given to me, and then it will automatically add it. Or I could just use the command which they graciously provided me. Now it has been added, and now let's see what's the, okay, not that. Yeah, what's the next command? Git branch main. So it needs to go to the main branch, obviously. So it goes to the main branch, okay, and then you can push the changes using git push. This origin is basically the nickname of the remote repository which we used here. So git push origin main. Cool. It has made some changes. It's doing something, and then it pushed it. As you can see, it did not ask me for my password. Why did it not do that? Because this is a public repository and it's my account. I'm signed into this VS Code IDE. If you are not signed in, it will ask you to enter your username and your password. So that way it is safe. Cool. And now if I refresh this page, you will see entirety of my code over here. Now what good thing about this is, and why I named it this specifically is, GitHub also allows you to host your static HTML pages. So as you can see, this was entirely static. Yeah, like there was not anything like React or anything. So this was just HTML, CSS, which we taught you, which we introduced you to in the first two sessions. So so yeah, so if you have your repository by this name, specifically your username .github.io, you can access this website. Now the only two restrictions are, first of all, the name. The second restriction is the web page that you want your website to display first should be named index.html. So now let me just go to this website, .github.io. Might not update right away. Oh, okay, great. So as you can see, this was the local code which was written by Sufyan. Uh, so all of this, and this is, for example, his portfolio website where he has his resume, his portfolio projects, or whatever, like everything. So as you can see, now that you have a good portfolio website, you could easily put it up on your resume and it would look very good, and you didn't have to pay anything to upload this to have your website on the internet. Now all of you can go to this URL and access this portfolio. And yeah, so basically this has a good benefit of providing free web hosting, although it is very restricted. By that I mean it is restricted to static HTML. There are some file name restrictions, there's this, there's that, but still, for something that is free, this is very good. So yeah, we created a new repository from VS Code. We created a new repository in GitHub. We made some commit changes, and yeah, that is it. So we did git push. Now if you want, I could just maybe remove this. Okay, let's say I remove this. That is a change. If I save it, it will show it to me over here, and I can commit this change. I can stage this change, commit this change, everything, and it will be a second change which I've done. So let's say second commit. Okay, sorry, command enter, and yeah, so it is telling me there was this initial commit, and then there is a second commit. Now you can see initial commit has origin written on it, but second commit is not. That is because it is telling me that I have pushed all my changes uh, to my remote repository up till here. Any changes in my second commit have not been pushed. So it's good that VS Code gives you a lot of information on this. It will give you a file history. So yeah, it will give you file history. So what was the change you made? Okay, since I committed for the first time, that was the entire change. Entire file was the change, basically. My second change was a very specific change. It told me this was changed, right? You can see like there's a red bar here, and then there is just empty over here. So which means this was removed. If I add something, it will show up as green over here. But yeah, it gives you a very specific control and an overview of what exactly is changed. So yeah, in that way, Git is very, very intuitive and a very useful tool. And every single company, every single software company uses Git. Like they have to use Git. There is no other. I mean, there are other version control options, but what I mean by they have to use Git is that they have to use a version control system. So this was just an introduction. You can absolutely read more about it on Medium articles, on any other article. You can read more, watch a few YouTube videos on it. So I hope this helped you kickstart your journey and gave you a overview. This is the cheat sheet which has all the commands. I don't remember these commands. I'm telling you, don't have to either. It is basically of no use because you have a very intuitive UI to play with in Visual Studio Code. So yeah, Abhishek, have I missed anything? If you want that I should have covered, but I didn't. Don't think so. Okay, yeah. So fine. If you have any questions, you can ask me right now, or if you have any questions later on, you could ask us on our Instagram page on on of CSCA underscore NITW. This is the cheat sheet URL. Uh, and yeah, that's it for GitHub Workshop. Thank you all for joining. Any questions? All right. Thank you all for joining. Okay. Is learning React necessary? I mean, React is a tool which is used for front end web development. So, and it is a very famous library, by the way. So, if you want to make, a single page web apps, I would suggest React. I would suggest that you learn React. There are others as well, like Vue.js is a good one, AngularJS is a good one, React.js is obviously, as you mentioned. So it's not necessary, but if you want to build something, React is a very good tool for it. Unfortunately, no, you cannot. That is the restriction with GitHub pages, is that you can only host one repository called, which has to be named very specifically. So yeah, there is just, I mean, there can be multiple HTML pages on that website, but it just cannot be many websites.
No, we can host it.
Oh, we can?
Yeah, we can like can I show this?
Yeah. Share your screen. I wasn't aware of that then.
Okay, so
Why can't we build from scratch? Just a minute. I'll answer your question after Sufyan's done
suppose
presenting.
this is my website. I'll just open one of my repositories. So just for any
Oh, by the way, Sufyan, could you also show them how you can copy my repository as well?
okay, that's
Clone it
fine.
into your desktop after you mention.
I'll just do it later. First, I'll tell you how
Yeah.
to
First show
host
that.
that. So I'll
Yeah,
just
cool.
find something. Like there's so many repository which I think. Okay, just I'll see this handy tools. This is a basic repository which is not following that github.io format, but we can actually host it. For that, we must have this index.html named html like in the root folder, and there we can go to settings, and then we have to go down and go to the GitHub pages. But like it has it has come to the new page, and from here just select the master branch and save it. Like it is already hosted over here. You can see sufisme.github.io/handy tools. So if I click it, it is already hosted. So thing is, we can host multiple web pages, but the condition is you must have this index.html file at the main folder.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for letting me know that also.
Okay.
And also,
So
yeah, as we said, now if Sufyan wants to contribute to my repository, what he can do is he can
first of all,
download my repository,
yeah.
which is also called cloning. So he will show you how to do that.
So like, should I tell them how to fork and then clone? Like it will be easy for them to collab in that case.
Yeah, it's up to you.
Yeah. So like we can like if I want to fork it, so I like just click on this fork button and select my account, and it has created a copy of Pradyum's repository in my account. So if I go to my if I go to my account and go to this repository, I'll find this Pradyum's repository in mine. So what I can do is like it has given me my own rights to edit this repository. So here I can just copy it. I'll go to my local system. Suppose coding set only. I'll open my git bash here and I'll just say git. Sorry, there was some lag in my git bash. Git clone. I'll just clone his repository into mine. It is
So
it
copying a
is
repository is known as cloning a repository.
yeah. And see, like this repository has come into my local system, and you can see this .git folder over here. This shows this is all actually hosted on like it is. This is actually a website repository on GitHub. So what I can
Yeah.
do here is like I'll just suppose I'll just open this image I'll just open the source code and I'll just change something from here. Like suppose, what do I change? I'll just change this consultation and speech to something, lorem ipsum, and I'll just save it. And then I'll go back to again my this thing. I guess I did this. And I'll just go to this folder, Pradyum, and I will just do the same. Git at dot, which will detect all the things that I've changed. Commit commit it to my commit it to the repository. Suppose temp commit,
So this message is giving me information about what this commit has changed.
and then
So
I will just push it back to from where I just got it. So I'll just origin main. It show like this is saying okay, this has come like successfully merged my new thing into the main repository, which will be shown here. So if I refresh it, I'll be getting this branch is one commit ahead of Pradyum's, because I had did something which was not in Pradyum's repository, because I copied it and did it. So what I can do it, I can just create a pull request. Suppose like I thought what changes I did is superior to what Pradyum's repository already has. So I will initialize a pull request that I will ask Pradyum, okay, like just see this, I have done these changes and please merge it into yours, because this is a superior change and like this change is necessary. So I'll just create a pull request and just give it a comment. This is already temp commit, and I'll create this pull request. Now this pull request has gone to the Pradyum's repository, which is under the authorization of Pradyum, which he can, like, if he find okay this repository is fine or not, there like the only one with the right access, which is Pradyum, to this repository can merge pull request. So if Pradyum thinks like what I changed did is good enough to good enough to merge into his repository, he can merge it, and then that change will be reflected on the website that he has hosted on this pradyum.github.io. So like Pradyum, can you show and see if you get this pull request?
yeah, 1 second.
Yeah, I'll stop sharing for a while.
Yeah, so as you can see, this is under my account, and you can see there is under pull request, I have a pull request by Sufi is me. Okay, so what I want is I can either look at what the changes are. Okay, like I could go into depth of it, what file changes are there, which is visible over here. You can see it tells me that it has changed this and it has changed it to this. Now I know what he has changed. Cool, I can absolutely accept the change. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to merge this pull request. And as I do it, I can confirm the merge, and now it's done. Now my repository is the same as his, and then it will tell me merge pull request one from Sufi's. So yeah, this is how you both can contribute to, like multiple people can contribute together on one repository. And yeah, one question which I forgot to answer. uh, a Git is a tool, a version control system. GitHub is a website for you which acts like Google Drive for your repositories. So Git and GitHub are not the same thing. They are two different things. Git is a version control system. GitHub is what do you call it? GitHub is a Google Drive type of thing, a remote repository for all your Git repositories. Yeah. For Sufyan to host my site, it is uh, first of all, he can't host my site. He will need to create his own repository, which I think he has done. So you can only host websites under your username. Like he cannot use my username from his account. So yeah, he will need to have his own repository and enable pages in it. Since he has forked it, he can do it. But yeah, it will be available under his username.github.io slash whatever he has there.
I was showing that only. It was like
Yeah.
I was muted. So the thing is like if like as I told you, like if I come to like this pradyum263.github.io is my repository. This is not like from Pradyum, it is my. So I'll go to setting and I'll just open this page tab, and here I'll find this source to none. I'll just change it to main, and here I'll just save it. So it is saying your site is ready to be published at sufism.github.io/pradyum. Like it is saying it is not Pradyum, it is hosted on my site. Like the thing which I copied from it. So it is ready, it is not published now. Like it will tell you over here your site is published at. So like you have to wait for at least you can say 1 minute at most. I'm just refreshing it. I guess we have it. It is saying it is not found yet because it is not hosted yet. It takes a bit time to host. Sometime it is taking a lot of time to host it. I'll just come back over here again. Let's see if it happens. It is taking literally a lot of time. It should not take that much time. I don't know, like there may be some issue. See it is saying your site is published there. So if I go here, I can see this like sufisme.github.io/ the URL which I got, and here it is published. So all the things it is working. This thing. So yeah, like it takes a bit time, but yeah, it hosts, and you can I guess host as many as you want. Like I myself have hosted a lot of websites from GitHub only. So yeah.
Okay, so with this, I think we come to an end to this session and the end to this 3-day workshop. So thank you all of you for joining this, and the recordings will be available. So we'll put those on YouTube as well later on, so that you can share it with your friends. And if you have any doubts regarding anything that has been taught in all these 3 sessions, please feel free to message our Instagram or Facebook page, and we'll definitely get back to you. And we'll be sharing all the resources and all, whatever that have been used. And you can just keep on practicing and keep on making good things, good projects and all. Okay, so thank you so much for joining, and we conclude this session. Thanks so much. You can, if you want, you can leave now if you don't have any doubts.